Welcome to our electric vehicle training program. My name is Wes Wilburn with the American Towing and Recovery Institute. We're privileged to have Ron Moore with us today. Ron, if you'd introduce yourself, please.
Thank you. My name is Ron Moore. I live in Plano, Texas, a suburb of Dallas, and I've retired as a firefighter, fire chief. My experience is in fire and emergency medical training. I put together a joint training program specific to electric vehicles to talk about responders' point of view arriving at an incident involving an electric vehicle.
So Ron will represent fire and rescue, and I'll represent towing and recovery.
In studying electric vehicles, there are some terms that would be used in anything you read or anything you hear about electric vehicles. And some of these, not all, I don't have all of them listed here, but some of these are very important to our process, our response. Emergency Response Guide, you'll hear about either the ERG, which is not the orange book from DOT. It's Emergency Response Guide specific to that particular electric vehicle. You may also hear about a rescue card or a rescue sheet. It's kind of like a brief version. It may be two sides of a piece of paper, or maybe four, where the Emergency Response Guide is a more robust document. It may be 30 or 40 pages. The second set of terms that you'll see a lot is HEV, hybrid electric vehicle, and PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. And we need to realize as a responder, these hybrid vehicle or a plug-in hybrid vehicle out on the street, it doesn't really matter. It's essentially the same vehicle. But these vehicles, different from electric vehicles, have fuel tanks. So we may smell leaking fuel at an incident involving an HEV or a PHEV. The next set of terms, EV or BEV, battery electric vehicle, which is pretty much what everybody thinks of. It's the Tesla, it's the Ford, it's the Hyundai, it's truly the fully electric vehicle. EREV was started years ago by General Motors with the Chevrolet Volt, VOLT. EREV means extended range electric vehicle. That vehicle, which now is coming out with the 2025 Dodge Ram Charger pickup truck, which will be an electric EREV, extended range electric vehicle. These vehicles have gasoline-powered engines or motors that recharge the battery while the vehicle is driving down the road. So with the electric Volt from 2010, VOLT, the engine ran off of a 9.3 gallon gasoline tank. So again, with the Volt or with the new Dodge Ram Charger, which will be out in 2025 model year, we have the opportunity to also have gasoline on board, as well as a hybrid lithium ion type engine situation. And then ICE, if you hear somebody talk about that or read that, it has nothing to do with cold or hot. It's internal combustion engine. It's the gasoline powered vehicle that we have or the diesel powered vehicle that we have. The next set of terms is badging, which actually was reflected on the title slide. Badging is the exterior markers that tell responders, tow operators, fire department, police officers, for example, tell them what make and what model electric vehicle we have. For example, on an ICE vehicle, it might say Nissan and then say Altima, for example. What the problem with badging, it is not required in the United States, in North America, for example, and it never has been required. So we as responders have been relying a lot upon badging, the exterior markers, and badging may not be present, or if it's present, it may be what we call two-sided, which means at the front and at the rear. UHSS is ultra high strength steel. It is part of the crash design, crash worthiness of the vehicle, and boron is one of the types of UHSS steel. You'll find these electric vehicles, for example, will have boron type steel in the B pillar to reinforce them and keep them safe, keep the occupants safer in a crash collision situation. The last term on that column is middle mile and last mile delivery. This is the Amazon, the FedEx type truck for last mile delivery, that it comes to your neighborhood and delivers the package that you ordered that day or the day before online. And then middle mile a lot refers to tractor trailer trucks that are driving from point A, maybe 600 miles to point B. They want to make them electric if they can, to take away the driver boredom, the human driver boredom of that 600 mile or so trip. So middle mile is getting from point A to point B, distribution points, and then last mile is what you see in your neighborhood. Over on the next column, we have the different types of charging. Just realize that charging is now a big deal among the electric vehicles. If the vehicle is plugged in, it may release the charging cord. It may not release the charging cord. It may be part of the design of that vehicle. Level 1 is 120 volt standard household. All electric vehicles come with that level 1 charging cord somewhere on the vehicle. And then level 2 would be the hot water heater or the dryer, 240 volt. Those are both AC. Level 1 and level 2 are AC charging. So for fire department responders or tow truck operators, if you're responding to a disabled electric vehicle that's plugged in, it is a different type of situation than if the vehicle is sitting by itself. Then DC fast charging, which is all the rage right now, level 3, that's what you hear about. All these different stations in the back of Walmart or along the side of a gas station or behind a restaurant, for example, where the DC fast charging, if the vehicle is plugged into level 3 charging, it skips the AC part, and the DC coming out of the pedestal charger unit goes directly into the electric vehicle itself. The whole big problem is the next term, lithium ion. It is the rechargeable. It is the chemistry that's used in rechargeable batteries. It is what's in your cell phone. It's what's in your computer, for example. It's what's in these electric vehicles. Lithium ion is a type of chemistry that basically says, I don't like you as a responder, whether you're a tow truck operator or a fire department operator, or even the owner operator. I don't like you. Don't mess with me. Don't touch me. I will come out of my container and get you. You'll hear about stranded energy. It means as a responder, even when we shut the vehicle down, make it dark, if that's the case, however you want to look at it, the battery, the high voltage battery, as well as the low voltage battery, which is the 12 volt battery, typically still maintains the energy that it had, the juice that it had in it. It's no longer circulating, let's say, but the energy is stranded or trapped in the battery. And then thermal runaway and off-gassing, they go hand in hand. The individual battery cells that make up the high voltage battery packs in electric vehicles, for example, have the ability, one cell might misbehave. It may be one of 7,000 or one of 850 cells, but it misbehaves, and then it can damage the next cell next to it, the exposure neighbor next to it, and it just goes that way. Off-gassing is a big deal. It is the vapor, it is the mist, it is the whitish or grayish type smoke that is given off by a lithium ion battery when it is in thermal runaway. And then the last term that I have here, and this is not all the terms that you'll hear, but the last term that I have here is bichargeable, meaning if you, like for example with the F-150 Lightning electric pickup truck, if you buy the right battery pack in the truck vehicle and buy the right charging unit in your home, and you could plug in your electric F-150 Lightning, and the power from that battery pack in that electric truck would feed certain circuits in your home, vehicle to grid or vehicle to home type situation. So that's just a brief overview of some of the electric vehicle terms. Another one I can think of right off the bat that I don't have on here, but you may read about or hear about, is a skateboard. On these electric vehicles, the high voltage lithium ion chemistry battery is typically in what's called a skateboard. It's a design where you have the front part of the vehicle, the rear part of the vehicle, and in the middle you have the lithium-ion high-voltage battery. And then it's mounted onto and underneath the floor pan of the vehicle, and that's typically referred to by the auto designers, auto engineers as a skateboard. That's a term that is not on here. That is important for all of us as responders to understand. The emergency response guide, this is an example of a Tesla Model 3. It winds up being 30-some pages if it's downloadable. These ERGs are provided by manufacturers directly, manufacturers of hybrid and electric vehicles. They can be downloaded at no charge from the manufacturer's website, although the difficulty is finding them in all the pages of a website, and then also finding the proper information that you want out of the guide. There was an incident in Phoenix where an electric vehicle in Phoenix caught fire. It was a Jaguar, and the manufacturer had not made their ERG available to North American responders. It was available in Europe, but not in North America. So this is just one example of right now Tesla Model 3, which is the most popular worldwide selling electric vehicle. And this is just an example of the cover page of the Emergency Response Guide. NFPA, National Fire Protection Association, many times refers to ERGs, emergency response guides, as EFGs, emergency field guides, but they're really talking about the same document. So the document of ERG is there. It is just, there may be difficulty finding it on the manufacturer's website if it's there at all, and then there may be difficulty finding the relevant parts of it as a responder that you need to know. Slide 7 is a document available in the United States from National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA.gov. It came out back in March of 2014. It is one of 3. They're downloadable. They're free. They are titled Interim Guidance for Electric and Hybrid Electric Vehicles Equipped with High Voltage Batteries. There is one specific for towing, recovery, and vehicle storage facility operators. There's a second PDF document that's downloadable that's specific to police, fire, medical, and then there's a third one that's specific to owners, occupants of the vehicle. So these are free. These have been out since 2012 when version 1, draft 1 was introduced, 2014. So all responders should be able not only to pull down the ERG and the rescue card or rescue sheet for a given vehicle, but also have their protocol, their agency or company protocol that follows or meets the guidance of the NHTSA documents. Slide 9 is an example of what's called an OEM, original equipment manufacturer, Tesla in this case, that has on their website, tesla.com/first responders, have the ERGs for the now 5 of the 6 Tesla vehicles that they produce. So again, you can go to the manufacturer's website. You can go to a certain websites on the internet, NFPA, for example, that they're trying to accumulate and keep current with all these different documents. Or you can, as a responder, you can go to the app, Clever app, which is the electric vehicle safety app that has all this information directly available, immediately available, and it cuts through how to use the glove compartment, how to adjust the seat belts. It cuts through all that, gets right down to things that personnel at the vehicle that's disabled or at the vehicle that is involved in a crash or a fire or in a storage situation need to know. Wes, the Clever app?
The Clever app. Comprehensive list of electric vehicle emergency response is a project that the American Towing and Recovery Institute has taken on. We've been collecting information on hybrid vehicles for starting 12, 15 years ago now. And of course, when electrics came out, we started collecting all that information as well, the emergency response guide, all the different information from the manufacturer. We were putting that out in a PDF format to our students at classes, And when we got to almost 600 pages, I started hearing feedback about it's great to have all that information, but it's kind of hard to use a 600-page PDF on the side of the highway. So that's when we came up with the concept of making an app out of it. We have a research team that works on this full time, so we're constantly checking for updates. One of the reasons that the car manufacturers suggest not downloading their emergency response guides is things are changing all the time. And that's one of the things we take care of with the Clever app. Right now, we have 702 passenger vehicles and about 60 heavy trucks. Heavy trucks not only have electric, hybrid electric, but they also have compressed natural gas and carbon. This app has the complete information from the emergency response guide. It also has information broken down into categories, so you can zero right in on what you need. Dealing with a water submergence situation, you can click right into that, etc.
Slide 13 is an example. This is a Mustang Mach-E, which is the new all-electric Mustang. For example, things that you might learn about this through one of the apps, like the Clever app, is this Mustang Mach-E has four-sided badging, front, rear, and driver's side door and passenger side door. But also it has this Mustang Mach-E, which is all electric, has no door handles. There are absolutely no door handles. This is truly an example of an all-electric vehicle coming out where the operator, the tow operator, the fire responder, the police officer, there's too much to remember at the scene. But with an app, while you're there at that car, you can pull down the information to get into it for one thing and to deal with it for another. This slide shows a couple examples of pickup trucks, just to make sure that all of us as responders are aware that electric vehicles are in passenger vehicles, they're in pickup trucks, they're in SUVs, minivans, as well as now the Class 4, Class 5, up to Class 8 vehicles. So with the pickup truck slide, we look at the F-150 Lightning, which is the all-electric Ford pickup truck. We look at the Rivian, which is another manufacturer, R1T. They also have the Rivian R1S. And then the Tesla Cybertruck, which is the stainless steel body vehicle that just came out, produced by Tesla. Slide 15 is an image from the government trying to talk about how they're promoting the largest U.S. government fleet, which is the U.S. Postal Service, and they're trying to promote how the goal of fully electrifying the government fleet by 2030. Here we see the FedEx electric vehicle and the Amazon electric vehicle. This reflects back to a term that we talked about earlier, the last mile delivery. These are vehicles that you may see in your neighborhood on a country road. This is an example of a reason why these vehicles are everywhere. You can't be in an area in the country that is no longer too rural to ever have electric vehicles, because there no longer is an area where last mile delivery electric vehicles won't get there. Amazon has 100,000 on order, and FedEx ordered 7,500 of their electric vehicle trucks. Next, we see Walmart with the Canoe, which is what they call a lifestyle delivery vehicle. This is used by some of the Walmarts. They ordered 4,500 of them with an option to buy up to 10,000 of them. This is when you go online from your home and order something from the local Walmart grocery store or Walmart store, and this is the vehicle that Walmart intends to have coming to you. Examples of Class 4 electric trucks. This is an example of a term we referenced earlier, the middle mile delivery trucks. These are trucks that could be coming to a Sam's Club or a local grocery store. These are trucks that are designed to run electrically and then are designed, actually even designed to run without a human driver eventually, autonomously. This is Nikola Class 8 tractor, battery electric vehicle. Nikola had an issue with the battery electric vehicles. They are now very heavily investing in the propane or the hydrogen fuel cell tractor trailer truck. So this vehicle, this Class 8 tractor, is a battery electric vehicle, but also they're looking into having it as a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. That seems to be the solution for the long haul, large tractor trailer truck Class 8 vehicles. Slide 20 shows an image in the upper left of the Rizon brand Class 4 battery electric truck. Rizon is another brand, a new brand like Mack, like Ford, like Kenworth that will be out there that we're going to have to get used to. And then over on the right, you see a sample page from a typical battery electric vehicle truck. So the truck manufacturers are promoting this to cities and municipalities for trash trucks, recycling trucks, collection trucks, and the like. The rescue card for, in this case, the Class 4 battery electric truck, the Mack, also includes information for tow operators trying to recover this trash truck or dump truck or whatever the truck is. It also includes information in this rescue card for this particular brand of truck for submersion. You see the artist rendering of it. This is a title page about Volvo and their subsidiaries introducing an electric truck safety app with simulated reality for technology for first responders. So they want you to use your iPad that you have at the scene, and they want you to look at the truck, and then the augmented reality designs or recreates the solutions for you. This is just an example coming from Volvo. Just to show that electric vehicles are into the large 80,000 pound plus tractor trailer truck arena, we have the Tesla Semi, which is just one of many that is an example of a battery electric tractor trailer truck. These are silent running, human driven or designed to be autonomous driven tractor trailer trucks that can be 80,000 pounds or more. This is an example of a high voltage battery that is constructed of nickel metal hydride, which is what originally we had for rechargeable batteries, high voltage batteries in hybrids, for example, and then some of the early electric vehicles. Lithium ion is the other chemistry. The problem with the nickel metal hydride, it didn't hold its charge. It didn't give them enough range or distance. So the manufacturers transitioned to lithium ion chemistry, which now makes up the typically 1,200 pound, 1,000 pound, or 1,200 pound skateboard battery under the undercarriage of the vehicle. So the nickel metal hydride was friendly. It liked us. It allowed us to do a lot of things to the vehicle in towing and recovery and in fire rescue. The lithium ion says, nope, don't touch me, don't get me wet, don't damage me. I will let you know how you screwed with me. Slide 25 is an example from an incident in New York State where a pickup truck, an ICE pickup truck, broadside crashed into a hybrid Toyota Prius with a driver trapped. And in this case, the fire department, after securing the vehicle, they have taken the roof off. So we for all the years that we had the hybrids, and Toyota still sticks with, even brand new Toyota hybrids still stick with the nickel metal hydride battery. These are smaller. These are more accessible. The hybrids were easier to deal with and really didn't cause us any Geraldo Rivera type problems in the early days. This is a picture of the Chevrolet Bolt, B-O-L-T, which came out in 2017. General Motors told the design engineers, we need a 5 passenger electric vehicle that will be less than $40,000. How do you design it? As you can see in the transition, with a floor pan mounted battery. So it eliminates the tunnel. It makes a Bolt EV, or what's now called the BOLT, Bolt EUV, into an electric vehicle, a 5-passenger electric vehicle. Right now, this is a very popular selling vehicle for General Motors, and it is, I think, less than $40,000. This is a picture of a car display. This is the skateboard of a Tesla Model S, which is the full-size sedan. This is a 1,200-pound skateboard battery, 400 volts, has over 7,000 lithium-ion battery cells. They're about the size of a AA batteries, all originally wired together with hairline thin wires. So this is an example of the skateboard. The car body the passengers are in sits on top of this skateboard design. This is the skateboard that the electric vehicle manufacturers really prefer. This is the skateboard. The red are the electric motors. This would be a dual motor. So for tow and recovery operator, that means that all 4 wheels are drive wheels. So, and then you have the front on one side, the rear on the other end, and then in between you have the structural battery, which is holding the car together. You can see the weights listed and I just used Tesla, 3 of the 5 Tesla vehicles as an example. The Model X, which is their SUV, minivan type thing, the Model 3, which is the small sedan, and then the Model Y, which is a larger sedan vehicle. You can see the weights, approximately 1,000 pounds, maybe 1,200 pounds. Low in the vehicle, it totally affects the center of gravity of the vehicle. And for tow and recovery operators, none of those wheels on this particular car, as well as any vehicle, none of the wheels should be rotating on the ground when the vehicle is being towed away. The Hummer EV weighs over 9,000 pounds. However, 32% of the Hummer EV is what General Motors calls the Ultium battery, 23 pound battery weight. So this vehicle, 9,000 pound vehicle, is really the monster that is out there. If you look at the next slide, you can see the schematic rendering of the Hummer EV. You can see the floor pan mounted battery in the orangish color. You can see the greenish teal color, which represents the boron ultra high strength steel. The Ultium HV battery has an animation that plays. It's provided by General Motors. It's starting with one module of the high voltage battery that General Motors calls the lithium. It shows how the individual modules make up the high voltage battery pack. It shows how the battery pack makes up the skateboard, and then it shows how the skateboard makes up the vehicle. As you look here, if you pay attention to any of the training programs that are out there by responders, by manufacturers, by organizations, they all boil down to basically a 7-step, what I refer to as a lockout, tagout protocol. So whether you're a tow and recovery operator or whether you're a fire rescue personnel, police officer, medical, it doesn't matter. Your discipline, your agency should have the 7-step process written into, this is how we're going to handle a disabled or a crash damage or a fire damaged electric vehicle. This is how we're going to handle a rescue and extrication. The issue is it all starts with, all of the training programs start with item 1, identify, and then it goes to all the way to item 7. What I'll emphasize in the program is that item 7 is basically making this vehicle dark. It's killing all the power to the vehicle. And if you do that, that may be something you need to do at that incident. But if you kill all the power, we still have stranded energy. And if you kill all the power, anything that is still closed, such as doors, hatchbacks, windows, anything that is still closed is now closed and jammed or closed and locked. So if you look at the list, the lockout, tagout recommended list, beginning with identification, it goes right through to step 6, and then the manufacturers will, in very small print, will tell you, you may want to pause before you go to step 7. You may want to use your electrical accessories such as door locks, windows, trunk, hatchback, hood, and that kind of stuff. Because once you make an electric vehicle kill all the power in the electric vehicle, it is not able to be push, pull, or drag very readily. It is essentially locked. It is dark. It is shut down and becomes what I refer to as a brick. So this is a very important list, but you need to have some leeway that explains how each of the items would fall into place.